rabbit punching going on by both boys here.
This round right here with not the same action as, the prior 5 or so, but good left hand there from Roy Jones. Jones still landing his pet punch, though, which is the left hook.
Yeah, see, he knew he wasn't going to land that punch. Boom, he got out jackrabbit quick, and that's the amazing thing about Roy Jones. Look, threw a left hook, leaned back, didn't get hit with the sweeping right hand by Toney.
Closing seconds here of round 6. This will take us to the midway point in this bout.
Look at that, right behind him again.
Toney has to be frustrated.
Of course, that's what got Terry Norris DQ'd the other night in Mexico City against Santos Cardona. Was getting behind him and hitting him with the punch behind the head. So we better be careful of that.
Way to turn. Way to turn. I want you to just
back into Toney's corner.
Some of the hooks you're doing now, come inside with it instead of outside with a stick. Come through the middle. Right. Each time, put a little more pressure. Put a little pressure. We got him on our territory now. Coming into the championship round.
That's right.
Bing, through the middle. Through the middle. Try to make, he's flicking for everything you do. Right. Every time you flick at him, man, he's going for it. All right. Okay. Stay right there.
What do you tell your guy, Joe, in this situation if you're in Toney's corner where you seem to be getting beat to the punch almost every time, like right there?
I'd say, hey, you got a damn technique, and what you got to do is just assert your manhood on him at this point, rough him up, corner him, whatever it takes. If you got to grab him, hit him, on the shoulders, arm, anything, but you've got to score your punches, and you can't do it by trying to counterpunch and be slick. You've got to really start taking chances at opening up and making the other guy open up, because obviously the superior talent is Jones. You're not going to beat him in a tactical game. So let's see if you can beat him at a rough game. Get in there and press him hard.
With the exception of the 4th round, perhaps every other round has been Jones's round. And here, in round 7, he comes out in the first minute and goes right back to work with the lefts and rights. Toney getting hit by some big shots from Jones in the center of the ring. Combination punching there by Jones. The unknown is starting to be known now in Roy Jones Jr.
Well, James Toney right now has been in a lot of fights. Got clipped with a beautiful right hand by Roy Jones and shook it off real well. But Toney's never been in with somebody this talented, with the exception of maybe Michael Nunn, who was doing the same thing to him. Was getting around him, surrounding him. But Nunn ran out of gas, like I said later on, at the hand of James Toney working his body, which he's not doing in this fight against Roy Jones.
Roy Jones on the ropes here, and he's been able to get away from all the pressure of the champion so far to this point. A little roughness there from Toney, but like you said, he has to try something.
Right, he's got to do this, and I'm sure Bill Miller in Toney's corner would like to have referee Richard Steele just stay out of the way and let Toney maul him a little bit. I know as a corner man right now, I'd make sure in between rounds, I'd tell Richard Steele, hey, leave my man alone in the corner. He's trying to work just because the other guy's holding on. Give him a chance to work out of it, just like that.
Time ticking away here for the champion as we go into the final 45 seconds of round 7, and Jones still connecting on combinations with the quicker hands and the more accuracy. Toney just pounding Jones, or Jones rather pounding Toney. Combination punching. Champion on the ropes now, and you don't see Jones or Toney rather retreat very often. He seems to be a bit winded too, Joe.
Well, I couldn't disagree with you there. Toney had him pinned in the corner, and Jones is the one who forced his way out. So, it goes to show you that Jones is not only smart, but he's also very strong to back up a guy that much heavier than himself. And listen, those punches are taking their toll on James Toney because he just got caught with another good left hook. Even though he's sliding and rolling with a lot of them.
Oh! Good left hand from Toney, and a right at the bell. Toney's best moment, but after he had been mauled for the majority of round number 7. Back into Toney's corner.
You hear me? Especially when we're inside. We got to take this fight. We're on our territory now. We got to make our move. to make our move now, son. We want this fight.
Well, Bill Miller is right. James Toney does have to make a move, and he can't wait one more round.
I know he can't
we're going
move
into the 8th round.
You can hit him all
and,
day, keeping at your range.
We only got, what, 5 rounds left in this fight.
Okay,
He better make a move now because he's way behind. Look at that little replay there. We're going to see this left hook land, but it was high on the head of Roy Jones Jr. It wasn't that big of a punch. I think Richard Steele got hit a little bit harder at the end there. But it's an accomplishment to even hit Roy Jones on top of the head with a glancing punch. He's just not easy to hit square.
Round number 8. So far, Roy Jones Jr. Good left hook, and Toney had to grab on there. He lost his balance for a moment. Or so it appeared. The left hook has been the best shot there, and Toney hurt by that shot. Winging wildly, some headshots, and they're piling up for Jones, the challenger. He backs Toney up, and this is not a scene that you'll see very often. Here comes Jones. Has Toney in his corner, pounding him to the head with lefts and rights, but Toney fires back a right hand.
Toney was riding out 99% of those punches, especially in the corner there. Now, that was a little shot behind the head from Roy Jones, which doesn't do anybody any good. But right now, Toney isn't doing the smart thing, but he's doing what he thinks might work for him to get Jones to open up right in front of him instead of dancing around him, and maybe he can land a counter shot somehow out of these flurries.
Joe, either Toney's tired or he's a good actor. He appears to be a bit worn.
He's a bit worn, but I guarantee you, he's trying to land something like that.
If he's waiting for Jones to punch himself out, he's taking a beating in the process.
Well,
good work from Jones.
You can see Jones isn't going to punch himself out. It's the 8th round already. He's trained his whole life for this. He's been in training camp for 2 months for this fight. He's not going to get tired. He's done everything right.
Some blood now in the mouth of the champion, Toney, as he opens his mouth to breathe a bit harder and gets caught with a left hook right in the mouth. And on the ropes.
You see what I mean? Richard Steele, he didn't like the forearm that he put across Roy Jones, but he can't break up James Toney on the inside when he finally gets to do a little what he gets to do. He should let him work there.
You know, sometimes I know the camps, they talk to the referee or not the referee himself, but the representation in the state,
right,
and they point out some things about the other guy that they want stopped. Could this be the case with Jones?
Well, you know, right now I would say that whatever was or should have been covered earlier wasn't. And the fact of the matter is it should be the corner's job right now to try to help out his fighter and get any edge he can by talking to the referee.
Right hand and more blood in the mouth of Toney. He said once before he likes to get hit. Well, he's been hit.
See, the referee's going to jump in and break him if Toney doesn't do something. That's why when he finally gets in there, ooh!
Oh, big left hand from Toney, but not as big as it appeared.
Look at Steele, though. He's getting in the way too much here. He's got to let these guys fight a little bit more.
And that just fired up Roy Jones in the final 10 seconds. A street fight now in the middle of the ring. What is Richard Steele doing there?
He heard the...
It's a 10-second warning. What a bad move by Richard Steele. I hate to say it because I know Richard personally. And right when the fight was beginning to turn into an alley fight, he made a mistake.
Well, what happened was he heard the 10-second warning, which is a clapping sound. It's very loud. It's right next to ringside. And unfortunately for Richard Steele, it's quite embarrassing, I'm sure, for him right now. He's just misinterpreting the 10-second warning for the bell. And it's unfortunate for the fans, the referee, and the fighters right now.
Getting late for the champion. Round number 9 coming up. Through the first half of the fight, Jones dominated. As we look back at the action,
it looks like this might be the part of the round where it looked like Toney was hurt, but he wasn't. He just fell off balance. Here's Jones missing with another left hook, but he landed quite a few punches in that last round. That was one of the few he didn't land.
Getting pretty late for the champion now as we enter round number 9.
It's obvious James Toney needs a knockout. There's no two ways about it.
If you're Jones, what do you tell him in his corner before this round? Do you still have him use the left hand and the combinations, or do you have him up on his bike?
Look, I have him doing the same thing he is doing every round in, round out, and that's winning each round handily by using your superior athletic ability. Don't try to get into a slugfest. Hit your shots, get out to the side, work them. And that's, it looks like that's the talking he got to in the corner. Look, you've got an 8, you just slipped in some ice, 8-round advantage. Go ahead and box. You can do this the rest of the fight and still win.
One thing it does for Toney, though, it gives him a chance to move in because there's no punches coming at him.
Well, I guarantee you Roy Jones is going to take this whole round off for the rest of the fight. He might just be having a little fun, moving around, doing his thing, catching his breath, and I'm sure he's going to open up momentarily.
Would this have been the moment coming into this round that you tell Toney to go in there and finish this guy? It's getting late.
Well, I would have told James Toney that 4 rounds ago that it was obvious and apparent that there's no way you're going to tactic this man, that you're going to have to go in there and just rough him up, open him up, and get him into a slugfest somehow, which he did do last round. But that strategy came a little too late.
James Toney. The thing you have to keep in mind about Jones and what appears to be a lead is you have 3 judges scoring the fight, and they're all at 3 different angles, looking at the fight from 3 different sides of the ring.
Well,
and if you lay off, things could change not only in the judge's mind, but in the ring itself.
I'll tell you what, the judge on my side's got it a shutout. But let me put it this way: I would be really shocked if these judges didn't have a big lead for James Toney right now.
You mean for Jones?
Or for Roy Jones Jr., I'm sorry. James Toney, if I'm his corner man and I'm looking at it from a corner man standpoint, I'm saying you need a knockout. Whether the judge has it that way or not, as a corner man, my opinion is you need a knockout if I'm in James Toney's corner. And that's the perspective I'm looking at right now, is that he's way behind on points here.
The left eye of Toney is swelling, a lot of redness around it. For Jones, he's unmarked in the closing seconds here of round 9. Oh, good right hand coming out of the clinch inside from Jones, the challenger. Sneaky punch. He is very slick, Joe. 10-second count as lunging in the champion. He gets caught with the left and knocked into the neutral turnbuckle.
Well, Jones landed 2 rights and then slipped over to the left side and landed the left hook to the body. He's just outboxing James Toney at every turn. You've got to give him credit. I haven't seen one round where it's been in the reverse.
There you go. You feel that?